Welcome back to the JCPod. I'm your host, Jaden Chandler-Parnon. Hey man, we had a wild weekend of football. College basketball, that's back. NBA action, full speed. We're basically in the time of times, man. We got hockey going on, college basketball, NFL football, college football winding up. I mean, we're going to get our second week now at the college football playoffs. Woo! Man, it's crazy to think that's already week 9 college, or week 9 NFL turning into week 10. Week 10 turning into week 11 in college. I mean, truly, this season's flying around. I'm in shock, man. I can't believe how quick the season's going. It feels like the season's just flying by. Like it felt like it dragged a little bit to get here, and then all of a sudden it's just boom, 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 week. I mean, it is, man. We are flying, baby. So yeah, basically to jump into this episode, we're just going to go over I'm going to recap all the NFL games. After I recap the games, I'm going to go through some news I missed for the NFL. Go over college real quick. And then football-wise, just kind of talk about what happened there and everything. And then at the end of this, I'll go over something on my plan for college basketball. Just because I'm not the biggest expert. I got my guy Rowan. We talked about it. We have a plan in place I'm going to try to do, but I'll talk about at the end of the episode. So if you want to go to that, it'll be in the outro. But for now, without any further ado, let's talk about the NFL, man. We had the men's league happen Sunday. Man, there were some good games. This Thursday, by the way, Panthers-Bears, Thursday Night Football. Can't wait. Oh yeah, by the way, man, presented to you by Stare Down Sports, episode 100. I was so excited about the intro, I didn't even talk about it. Episode 100. I believe I started this podcast. I can give you the exact date in like 20 seconds, but I want to say it was about May of last year, so we're for sure in year 2, I know that. I just can't remember, this might be one of the first, it's about a year, about a year from today. It's been a journey, man. Been a lot of fun, had a lot of fun with it, excited to see where it grows. May 20th, 2022 is about my first video I posted out on this for my series, and yeah. We're in November 7th, 2023, and we got episode 100, baby. Man, I was going to do the little Wilt Chamberlain, Man, I was not prepped for that, I will lie. Totally forgot that. It was already episode 100, so sorry about that. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to everyone who's watched, everyone who's followed along so far. Been a lot of fun. I hope there's 100 more, and 100 more after that. But yeah, we're going to hop into the NFL, like I said. Quick little pause just to shout out the channel. It's been growing and been doing decent. Started off, Steelers beat the Tennessee Titans. By the way, this is going to be the first week I'm going to try to implement it. If there's a team that's not going to make the playoffs and it looks like they're going to be about done, so I'm not going to talk about them too much. We're going to start implementing that now because it's about basically the end of the season. It's starting to get to that midway point. Pittsburgh and Tennessee, though, both these teams have a chance to make the playoffs. Will Levis, from what I got from that game, Will Levis is still a guy. He had some opportunities here and there that he just missed. That game was pretty back and forth the whole way. Mr. Eli Manning, fourth quarter, Kenny Pickett himself does it again where they just kind of hang around, they do their own thing, and then they have a fourth quarter drive that ends up helping them win it. TJ Watt and Highsmith are absolutely insane. Sorry, I got stuff in my eye. But TJ Watt and Highsmith are absolutely insane. They had, they're just really good edge rushers. That was insane to watch. Speaking of edge rushers, the Chargers edge rushers had a day yesterday. The Jets edge rushers had a day. I mean, this might be the year of the pass rusher, honestly. Pass rushers are having their way. But yeah, regardless, Steelers get a good 20-10 win. I mean, this was just a good football game. There's not much to talk about. Just field goals back and forth. Close battle, and then at the end of the game, it came down to a touchdown. The Steelers were able to get, and then the Titans got the ball back. Titans drive all the way down the field and then throw a very late pick to Quan Alexander to close it. I mean, this is a really good fight by the Titans. This is going to be a team now where maybe they do have a little bit of fight. Also, too, by the way, I'll go over the divisions after I'm done with NFL news. I forgot to touch on that in the opening. We're talking about divisions a little bit today. I haven't done that yet this year. Dolphins-Chiefs. This starts off the Sunday night. This was in Frankfurt. This was all Chiefs first. Chiefs go up 21-0 basically, and then after that, I mean, the Dolphins scored 2 touchdowns, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, this was just the Chiefs' defense might be Mahomes said in the afterwards, this is the best defense he's ever played for. You might be right, man, because Rashee Rice started off the scoring, then Jared McKinnon got a quick touchdown pass, and then Tua Threw ball to, this was the play of the day, by the way. This was insane. Threw ball to Tyreek. Tyreek fumbles the defender, grabs it, starts picking it up. This is always something you think about as a defender. Maybe you'll talk about, it's like, after the game, where it's like, man, if you just would have thrown it to me, I had all day, man, nobody was there. They did it. I can't remember who it was. We'll just say it was Thornhill. I can't remember who it was, but somebody got the fumble. They're basically getting tackled. And as they're getting tackled, toss it back to Cook. Cook grabs it, runs it down the sideline for a touchdown. This was awesome. It was about a 37-yard lateral. Like, not the lateral itself was 37 yards, but he lateraled it. Then the guy ran about 37. It was a really cool play. But then, yeah, like I said, it was Raheem Mostert scored. Cedric Wilson scored. And all of a sudden it was, I forget. See, is his name Cedric? I don't. It is Cedric Wilson. Wow, look at that. Look at that pull. But yeah, no, basically it was 21-14. Dolphins do have a chance to win the game, but then they fumbled the snap and fourth down. Chiefs win in Frankfurt. First game in Frankfurt, Mahomes wins. Travis Kelce also passed Tony Gonzalez, become the Chiefs' all-time leader in receiving yards. That is awesome. Shout out Travis Kelce. Didn't have the best of games, but Mahomes hit 9 different targets, and then Kelce was still able to break Tony Gonzalez's record. So, yeah, congrats to the first ballot Hall of Famer for that. Big game by the Chiefs and Dolphins. We'll go over this one real quick. Rams, Packers. There wasn't too much. There wasn't much here. Rams just basically no-showed, but it felt like it. I won't lie, for them, the Rams feeling like they no-showed because they had Brett Rippon. It felt like it took the Packers a long, long time to put them away. I was pissed off because I ended up betting the Rams. I think I gave it out too, sadly. But it felt like late third quarter. I'm still sitting there. It's like, man, the Rams still have a chance, man. It's kind of scary how bad the Packers are. But yeah, it was about. I mean, yeah, they only scored. The Rams only scored 3 points, and it was until about sorry. It was 13-3 for the longest time. And it's like, well, they scored 1 touchdown. Maybe they got a chance. And finally, about 3:46, there's a touchdown pass made by Luke Musgrave. But Packers led the Rams in it for a long game. I just don't know what they expect from Jordan. I just don't know what they expect from Jordan Love, honestly. I don't know if Jordan Love's going to be there next year. With this back, I have no clue. The Rams basically just got screwed over by Matt Stafford not playing, because if Matt Stafford plays, they can probably easily win that game. I mean, the Packers were not good in this game at all. I mean, they only scored 20, which maybe could have scored a little bit more. But Jordan Love, 20 for 26, 228 and a touchdown. He has a 115 passer rating. So don't get me wrong. Stats say they all had good games. It's just man, the Rams just felt like they were in that game for the longest time. Then finally, defensively, obviously. Offensively, their offense looked pretty inept for a lot of the game. But defensively, they were able to keep them around it long enough. And the defense eventually just caved. Not much you can do there. Go over this game quickly. The Battle of the Quitters, Commanders, Patriots. Bill Simmons made the joke that this was the battle of the two teams trying to out-tank each other. He might have been right. Patriots basically started leading early. After, I think, Commies go up 10-0, then it becomes 10-0, and then it becomes 14-10. Then it a little bit more back and forth. Commanders score. And then the Patriots will score the rest of the game. But if it was weird, Ramondre Stevenson was going off. He probably had his best game. Sorry about that. I don't know what just happened. Probably had his best game so far of the year. Mac Jones did alright-ish, I guess. The biggest story of the Commanders, a lot of people felt like the Commanders probably were going to quit in that game after they traded everybody and they were done. But I don't know. Maybe the Patriots are trying to go for a top pick as well. But yeah, I don't really got too much on this game. It's Commanders end up winning. They move to 4-5. Gives them hope for the playoff chances, even though they traded away Sweat and Young. The Patriots 2-7. Yeah, the Patriots are 2-7. Their season's probably done so, but I don't know what to. They didn't play too good. They play the Colts next week. Very exciting for me as a Colts fan. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, for the most part, I didn't get too much out of this other than Commanders. Commanders won a game to keep their season hopes alive, while the Patriots might be trying to tank to get a good quarterback. Speaking of the Colts, Colts played the Panthers. Biggest story of this game, first time in Colts history that somebody got 2 pick sixes. Shout out Kenny Moore. 2 pick sixes, for those of you who didn't watch this game. Bryce Young just looks shaky, and we'll talk about the C.J. Stroud. We'll talk about C.J. Stroud in a minute. But, yeah, it's I think it's safe to say C.J. Stroud might be the quarterback that is the most ready. But, yeah, no, I mean, Bryce Young didn't look horrible at first. I felt like they had a chance for a minute to be in this game. I mean, the Colts basically had nothing on offense. I mean, offensively, Gardner Minshew only had 127 passing. The leading rusher had 47 yards. Leading passer had 64 yards with 8 receptions. Other than that, it was 5 for 22, 1 for 19, 2 for 12. I mean, it was literally... Offensively, the Colts didn't have to do much at all. Their defense pretty much is what... I mean, their defense spotted them 2 touchdowns. Their defense outscored the offense for the Panthers. If that happens, you're probably going to win a game. So shout out the Colts, man. They played really well. The Panthers just continue to struggle. That was also a revenge game for the Colts. Jim Irsay versus Frank Reich. Jim Irsay wins that battle. Yeah, I don't expect much from the... I just don't expect much from the Panthers now this year. I'm probably going to continue... Sorry, I don't know why I was spacing so bad. I'm probably going to continue to fade them. Next week, I think they play... Next week is the Bears, so that might be the only week I semi-consider taking them. But even then, the Bears look good against the Saints, man. So if they keep Bajan... Especially if Bajan's in, I'll consider it. If not, I don't know. It just sucks that's a Thursday night game. I wish I could avoid that game. But yeah, shout out the Colts, man. They get another win. Improved 4-5. Panthers are 1-7. It looks like, yeah, they don't got the first round pick, so it looks like they're going to be in a bit of issues. Cardinals, Browns. I mean, there's not much to talk about at all. It sounds like Kyler's going to be ready to play. Probably playing this week. But past that, I mean, the Browns held them to the biggest thing, the Browns held them to 59 yards. An NFL team. The Cleveland Browns held the Arizona Cardinals, not just like Clayton Tune, not just James Conner, the Arizona Cardinals, the team as a whole, held to 59 yards offensively. That's a masterclass defensively. Browns scored 27. I mean, this game wasn't close at all. Kyler Murray should be coming back from the Cardinals. A big win for the Browns. They continue to look good. Deshaun Watson didn't look horrible, but he picked a great game to come back because, yeah, I mean, he didn't have to try offensively. Next, we got the rookie C.J. Stroud, man. Oh, my goodness. He set the NFL rookie yardages 470, surpassing Andrew Luck. Hurts said he passed my boy, but, I mean, man, what a way to do it on the game-winning touchdown. This was a back-and-forth shootout. Bucks ended up losing 37-39. I mean, this was as back-and-forth as you can get. Fourth quarter, C.J. Stroud touchdown pass with 14-15. 11:46, Rachaad White gets a touchdown. Houston gets a field goal at 8:48. Tampa Bay, 49 seconds. Baker from Mayfield leaves a game-winning drive. He thought, touchdown. No. C.J. Stroud coming back the other way with about 40 seconds, 2 timeouts. I remember texting my buddy. Shout out my boy. He texted me. He was sitting there. He's like, well, because at the time, I ended up betting on the Bucks, I think it was. And he's sitting there, he's like, hey, man, the Bucks should be good now. I'm like, I don't know. The Texans have 2 timeouts in 46 seconds, and somehow the Bucks have not stopped C.J. Stroud all day. And sure enough, what do? They don't stop, and C.J. Stroud goes right down the field, scores a touchdown. C.J. Stroud, man, 30 for 42, 470 yards, 5 touchdowns. I mean, the boy balled out. Boy had an absolute day. He went crazy. I mean, that's the story of the game. Shout out C.J. Stroud, because, I mean, goddamn. Dude balled up. Baker had 265 and 2, but, I mean, when the opposing quarterback only misses 12 throws and he has 470 yards and 5 touchdowns, I mean, it's going to be hard to beat. Baker missed 9 throws, but, I mean, yeah, he can't compete with C.J. Stroud as a game like that. I mean, that was a truly awesome watch. Tank Dell, 6 receptions, 114 yards, and 2 touchdowns to lead the team. Shout out the Texans, man. Texans had a really impressive game after coming off the loss against the Panthers. And yeah, like I said, C.J. Stroud, that probably just locked him up for Rookie of the Year. I don't know anybody else who's going to have any, 1 or 2 performances that get close to that one. C.J. Stroud's a guy. He might be a guy. It sucks because Colts division is going to be brutal, man. C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Trevor Lawrence. And guess what? The Colts are the one team without their quarterback playing because he's hurt. Awesome. But no, honestly, shout out C.J. Stroud. That's truly awesome. Very excited, man. Makes me wish he could have dropped to be a Colt. I would have loved to see what he could have done with Shane Steichen. But, I mean, man, they got working in Texas right now for the Houston Texans. Might be something. We'll just say that. You know, I mean, honestly, the reason I spent so long on this team, at 4-4, the Texans might steal a wild card spot. We'll talk about that after I go over the news. But moving on next to another beatdown. We'll go over this game quick. These are 2 playoff teams, but, man, the Baltimore Ravens win 37-3 I mean, it was absolute domination, utter domination. I think Gus Edwards has 2 touchdowns. I mean, they're just controlling the ground. I mean, that's the biggest thing is they're just controlling the ground game. I mean, they had 37 points in fantasy-wise. Lamar Jackson had like 11 points. I mean, he didn't do much at all fantasy-wise, but their team's still winning big games. I mean, this Ravens team is going to be a really, really tough one. Odell Beckham scores his first touchdown. I think it was like 300 or 630 days. Something massive like that. Shout out Odell Beckham, man. Gets it late by Tyler Huntley, too, of all people. Tyler Huntley, the reigning Pro Bowler. He sort of touchdown late. Geno Smith just looks horrible. 157 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. He missed DK Metcalf on a touchdown late. That really hurt. I really needed that for fantasy bad. But regardless, I mean, the Seahawks just didn't look good this game. I mean, they basically got played out of the game, schemed out of the game, however you want to put it. They basically just literally got played out. I mean, they didn't score a touchdown. They have 1 field goal, and the other team dropped 37. I don't think there's much I need to go over that game to tell you what is bad. That's just going to be a Seahawks need to... That might be a crossroad for the Seahawks, honestly, because they just traded for Leonard Williams. This might be a wake-up call, like, oh, hey, maybe we are just 1 or 2 pieces away, or maybe there is some more we need to do, because, if you're a playoff team, you should not be losing this bad to the Ravens. I know you can have a bad week. The Lions had a bad week. And maybe it's just NFC teams. Maybe Lamar's just that good against NFC teams. But loading, man. That was a blowout. That was massive. We'll go another... Bears Saints. We'll talk about this real quick. Saints improved to 5-4. That Packers loss, just by the way, that more and more I just think about that Packers loss the Saints happened. It makes no sense to me. That's a real NFL game, pretty much. Makes no sense how they won, but it's the NFL. Anybody can win any Sunday. Yeah, Tyson Bagent had another. He didn't have a bad game, I won't lie. 18 for 32, 2 touchdowns. The big thing that killed him, the bad part of his game was 3 interceptions. He was playing good up until basically those 3 turnovers. A lot of them came at the end once they finally didn't have the lead. Alvin Kamara had more of a quiet game. He only had 9 carries for 20-something yards, but 4 receptions, 44 yards. Finally a quieter game from Alvin Kamara. So shout out to the Bears defense being able to maybe handle him, but it also doesn't help every time they went inside the 3-yard line. They're just like, Derek Carr, get your ass out. We need to bring in Taysom Hill. I like that about their offense. Sucks if you have Alvin Kamara. He might get a lot of touchdowns mooched and vultured. That's basically what happened for a nasty boy. A lot of those touchdowns in the nasty boy. Mike Evans catches a deep ball, gets tackled at the 1 pretty much. So, that Alvin Kamara got tackled at the 1. We don't need to talk about the nasty boy, but the nasty boy got nasty this week pretty much. You got 2 guys falling at the 1. I can't even remember the other 2 guys, but I think 1 hit and 1 was semi-close and not. But, it was, not good. But you know what was good? The Saints defense, they held strong. Really good game. Derek Carr did all right. Cole Kmet had 2 touchdowns. That's pretty impressive. Olave finally had a touchdown, his second one of the season. Shout out to the Saints, man. Big game by the Saints. Good win by the Saints. Because at one point, they were down a good amount. And it looked like, this might be in danger. They might be in trouble. And then, sure enough, Saints ended up clawing back, making it respectable. By the way, Denver, Detroit, Jacksonville 49ers. For those of you who didn't know still, those were the 4 teams on bye this week. I'm excited to see the 49ers with Chase Young, man. I'm very interested to see how they play, how that goes. What next game? What do we got next? We'll talk about this game before we get into the night game. Raiders, Giants. Horrible news for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones tears his ACL, out for the season. It was non-contact, too. You kind of saw it. It was kind of weird when he got tackled by Crosby. His knee kind of went a weird way, and then you saw him. I'll admit, when I watched it live first, I missed the first sack by Crosby. I was looking off at something. I saw the tail end of it, so I didn't realize. It was just weird. I'm like, oh. They said it looks like he hurt his knee after that Crosby tackle. And I watched it again. I'm like, oh, okay, that does look a little weird. And then, sure enough, very next play, I was watching this live. You see Daniel Jones drop back, and he basically falls down. I'm like, oh, maybe the lineman stepped on his foot or something. And then when you watch the replay, it's like, oh, he probably tore his stuff. And then, sure enough, it came out like a day or 2 later that he tore his ACL. Truly, it was honestly horrible to watch. You just watch the guy basically drop back and fall down. He had no power on that knee. That sucks for the Giants, man. Because then Tommy DeVito goes in and absolutely just gets... He basically just gets wrecked, man. A lot of sacks by the Raiders. The Raiders have an amazing game. Shout out Josh Jacobs. He got 2 touchdowns. Shout out Antonio Pierce, man. He he got these Raider boys going. You can tell. Obviously, Josh McDaniels had some issues. AJ Cole set a record in Week 9. I did not realize this. I got to see this. What record did he set? Oh, the 63.6 yards punt average, the highest in a single game in NFL history. Shout out AJ Cole. That's pretty dope, honestly. Antonio, shout out Pierce, man. The coach got the boys humming. I mean, if you saw the locker room afterwards, the Raiders feel like they're 4-5. Their season's wide open. That wild card, I believe, was wide open last time I looked. So they got a real shot. Arthur Smith, he had to shave the mustache. Why do you ask? Because of Josh Dobbs, man. Josh Dobbs comes into the game after Jaron Hall. By the way, shout out some guy in my fantasy who had the balls to play Josh Dobbs. I mean, Josh Dobbs should have not came in that game at all. He got lucky that he even came in because of the injury. But, man, shout out Josh Dobbs, dude. We aren't talking about fantasy. We're talking about this. Josh Dobbs, man. He's becoming honestly a really awesome story in the NFL. I mean, he is probably the feel-good story of the year so far. I think he's better than a lot of the quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I mean, the way he just played the last game, I mean, he's basically Kevin O'Connell basically said it, like, where he's, like, in his ear. Like, he'll give him the play. He sits there, he's watching him give the play call, and he's like, all right, now look, if you look to your right, there's Jordan Addison. You know, Jordan Addison running a hitch here. If you look over the middle where there's two safeties we're trying to occupy this guy. Look for KJ Osborne to be in the middle about here, and then on a deep fly, you got this guy. I mean, he's told him all this stuff in his ear before the time cuts off. And then Josh Dobbs is on his own. He has to figure it out. I mean, that was truly impressive. The biggest thing that killed the Falcons, they had to settle for way too many field goals, it felt like. There was a lot of 52-yarders that they took, a 23-yarder, 43-yarder. They could have punched in one of those field goals. I bet they would have felt a lot better about themselves when it comes to this game. They just left the door wide open. Josh Dobbs, 20 for 30, 158, 2 touchdowns. I mean, if you see the stat sheet, he had a lot of rushing too. I didn't see the rushing. But, I mean, you look at the stat sheet, it's like, Josh Dobbs only had 150 passing. He had 66 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown. If you just think about it, I mean, he truly had a good game. I mean, I'm honestly just so impressed by him. He had an awesome game. Shout out Josh Dobbs, man. The Minnesota Vikings get a huge win. I believe that's 4 in a row now. They win 4 in a row now. All of a sudden, they're in some wild card contention, potentially. Falcons lose 2 in a row. Falcons potentially have a get-right game back against the Cardinals, you would think, but Kyler Murray might be back, so who knows, man. This Falcons team just continues just to be really, really weird. And then before we get to Sunday Night Football, Eagles-Cowboys. I'm not going to talk about this game a huge lot because, honestly, if we're being honest, a lot of other sports shows and all that, they probably spent so long in this game, so I'm just going to give you, like, the big notes I saw. Kenneth Gainwell, shout out. He scored the first touchdown of the game. Jake Ferguson seems to be the number 2 behind. He seems to be the number 2 behind CeeDee Lamb. Like, if CeeDee Lamb's locked up and the coach is just like, man, where do I need to go? That seems like a really good play. That seems like a really good place to Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson, man, he's been definitely stepping it up a little bit. I forgot where I was going to go with it. There's something I want to talk about with Jake Ferguson, but I can't think of it now. But yeah, I mean, Dak Prescott, 374 yards, 3 touchdowns. The biggest thing it feels like is Dak Prescott played a really, really good game, and then there's just 3 or 4 plays that always comes down to it. It feels like he's always wrong in those 3 or 4 plays. There's always 3 or 4 plays that Dak Prescott's on the bad side of it that we just can't win. But, I mean, the Cowboys had a chance to win it in Philadelphia. I mean, even though the score definitely was kind of right about the feel of the game, they were definitely in the game. The Eagles had the ball twice. 2 different chances to basically end the game, run the ball out with about, I'll say, 6 minutes. So they had it with 6 minutes left. They will say one more with like 3? 6 minutes, 3 minutes. They have to give it back to the Cowboys. So this whole time the Cowboys have a chance. They just aren't able to get the job done. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this Cowboys team just goes moving forward. I mean, it's one of those games like, all right, you lost in Philadelphia. It is what it is. Philadelphia is really good. I'm interested to see how they do moving forward now. I'm very intrigued by that. But shout out to the Eagles, 8-1. Continue just to win games no matter what. I mean, all they do is win. And it's going to go into, they're on a bye week, but after this bye, man, Eagles-Chiefs. I'm very excited to see that matchup. 2 more games. Sunday night, Bengals-Bills. This score is a little bit misleading. It was all Bengals for a while. Joe Burrow passes for 348 and 2 touchdowns. He missed Jamar Chase twice for what could have been. This game could have been like 35 potentially with the scores he missed. Honestly, my biggest takeaways from this game are The Bills, there's just something wrong with the Bills. I mean, the Bengals, we're looking at it, the Bengals finally look right. I mean, Joe Burrow looks about as healthy as he's looked all season. This is the best they've looked all season. So, clearly Joe Burrow's fully back. So, I mean, I expected the Bengals to win. I'm not too shocked. I'm more of shocked by the score, potentially. It feels like the Bills' offense just was like a little... Feels like they need to run the ball more. Feels like they just... I don't know. It feels like Josh Allen just turns it over a little too much. Obviously, I feel like that's kind of speaks for itself. I feel like that's their biggest issue. Josh Allen's just turning the ball over a little too much. And, yeah, him turning the ball over, the mix of that and them not having a safe run game. I mean, yeah, that's gonna kill you every time, man, truly. Shout out to the Bengals, man. Big win for them. I personally expect them to win, so I'm not, like, too shocked by the score-wise. I'm just more shocked by, like... I mean, the Bills scored a late touchdown. If they don't score that late touchdown, they got a 2-point as well. If they don't score that late touchdown, take away the 8, it's 10-24. I mean, it could have been 10-35 by this point. Joe Burrow missed Jamar Chase, I think, in, like, the second quarter and the third quarter. So this game could have been way uglier. So shout out for the Bills for at least keeping it close, because it could have been way worse. And speaking of ugly, Chargers-Jets. Jets turned the ball over like 5. That's pretty much the story of the game. Jets turned the ball over like 5 times. Garrett Wilson fumbles. Breece Hall has a fumble. I think he recovers his own, though. Who is it? Zach Wilson has 2 fumbles himself. I mean, it was just horrible. There's a horrible luck for the Jets, man. I mean, they have a kick. Basically, I mean, man, this score is so misleading for how the game went. It was a tight game. There's a punt return. It was basically 7. Take away that punt return, it's 7-3 or 13-6 most of the game. Literally that punt return, I want to say, basically won the Chargers the game because they were able to play from ahead the whole rest of the game. And I'm not going to say they took the Jets out of their rhythm because, I mean, Zach Wilson also had some fumbles and they just played bad. But, man, they couldn't afford any loss. They couldn't afford anything after that. And then I think pretty much after that punt return they gave up, they've had 3 fumbles. I mean, their defense played as good as they could. Their offense was just about as inept as it can be. I hate to say it, but maybe Zach Wilson just might not be the guy. I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. I can't even say he's good. He's all right. He's average. I mean, it's just... He had some decent throws. It's just there was a few plays he missed, too. Between the plays he missed and the fumbles, man, it was just brutal night for the Jets offensively. But, yeah, that's it for all the game-wise. News-wise, real quick. I agree. Jets, Robert Saleh said Monday Night Football is far worse from Zach's first game. I can definitely agree with that. But I still wasn't a good game. It wasn't his worst game, but he's definitely had better games than that. I will say that. But yeah, shout out to the Chargers, man. Big win for them. They were able to get a monster. I mean, that's a season. That keeps their season alive. When now they're back to 500. I mean, both teams need that win bad. Now with the Jets losing, makes me wonder what's going to happen with this Aaron Rodgers saga. Kyler Murray is set to return Sunday. I'm very excited to see how that goes. Chase Young is happy to land with the 49ers. He said he's in the building of winners. Yes. Yeah, the 49ers win a lot more than Commanders. I can agree with that. Harbaugh says, no doubt the AFC North is NFL's best division. He might be right. I mean, that is a tough division to battle in right now. I can't disagree with that at all. Cam Akers is done for the season. He tore his Achilles Sunday. You really hate to see it, honestly. You truly, really do hate to see it. Because, I mean, he just basically came back from tearing it. He finally had, like, almost a full season. Now it's just gone. Taylor Heineken's will start again next week, and then they're going to reevaluate the QBs at the bye week. I don't know, man. The only thing that scares me if they go back to Desmond Ridder and they pull him again, then Desmond Ridder's done as an Atlanta Falcon. That's basically how I see it going. So they got a really tough decision to make. If they go back to Ridder, they basically got to keep him in there because if they pull that kid again, they're basically going to lose him, I'm assuming. And by lose him, I mean mentally. I don't know if he's going to recover mentally from being benched again. And it's just going to be a weird dilemma in the locker room. But I would assume Taylor Heineke's probably going to start for a majority of the season, if not the rest of the season. At this point, they might as well. Just let Taylor Heinicke do it. Let Desmond Ridder spend the year to learn, and then you can reevaluate in the offseason, depending on how your season ends. Like I said, Daniel Jones out with torn ACL. The Browns are going to lose tackle Jedrick Willis with an MCL injury. He should be back at some point this season, thankfully, so that's at least good for them. Goffert, he suffered a forearm fracture versus the... man, that sucks. Yeah, Goddard suffered 4 infraction. I don't know how long he's going to be out. I'm assuming. I actually don't know how long 4 infractions are in general. I'm genuinely curious. I can't think of how long. So it says it takes 6 to 8 weeks. I'm assuming Goddard probably is done for the season then, which if he is, that really sucks. Pete Carroll's turn. Geno Smith has a turnover streak going on, and Pete Carroll's very concerned about it. I can't blame him. I mean, that's basically what's losing him the game is all these turnovers and everything. But yeah, back real quick to the Dallas Goedert injury. That's tough news for the Eagles. He was starting to become like really good again and become a focal point of their offense. So really hate to see it. I don't know how much more big news we really have. I'm just trying to look for like injuries and stuff that's like really important. I think most of you heard about what happened to the Raiders injury, how McDaniels was like, don't mention that again when Pierce was talking about the Giants. That whole Jets situation, or sorry, the whole Raiders situation is just wild, man, honestly. Apparently, the Jets were trying to get Devontae Adams. Imagine that, man. Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. Yeesh. But yeah, apparently they were trying to get them. 5 teams inquired about Brian Burns from the Panthers before the trade deadline. Oh, Darren Waller and Tyrod Taylor on IR. They're going to be out 4 games for sure now. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens. Josh Sweat, I believe. Right? Oh, sorry, other one. Montez Sweat signs a 4-year extension worth $98 million with the Bears. So like I said, the Bears probably had a dumb trade, giving away something, but at least signed the guy, so at least it's probably net neutral at this point. But giving up a second-round pick definitely hurts. I won't lie. That's a tough one to give up. Stafford's still hurt. We'll figure out what happens with him. Shout out Patrick Mahomes. He played decent. I think we're good. I don't know if there's any I don't know if there's anything. My bad. I'm trying to find. I don't think there's any other big news. I think we got majority of it. Yeah, we should be all good. So yeah, shout out the NFL real quick. We'll go quickly to end it. We're over division standings. AFC East. Dolphins are in first place at 6-3. Jets were in second, but they dropped. Now it's Bills at second, 5-4. Jets third, 4-3. Patriots holding down the bottom at 2-7. Ravens are the inverse of that in their division. AFC North first place at 7-2. Steelers, Browns, Bengals. All three way tie at second for 5-3. That is a really good division of football. Really good division. They're all playing really good football, except for the Steelers. Steelers are just playing Steeler football. The AFC South, Jaguars are first place, 6-2. Second, Texans 4-5. Third are the Colts at 4-5. Sorry, the Texans are 4-4. Colts are 4-5. And then Titans are in last place, 3-5. That division ticket's probably toast. Chiefs. Now we'll go to the Chiefs real quick. Chiefs first in their division at 7-2. Second is Chargers 4-4. Raiders are third at 4-5. Broncos 3-5. NFC wise, Eagles in first place 8-1. Cowboys 5-3. Commanders 4-5. Giants 2-7. They're probably out of the race. Lions 6-2 in their division. Vikings 5-4. Packers 3-5. Bears 2-7. Vikings, man, hey, they have a chance. They have a chance to kind of crawl back. Make it a little bit interesting with the Lions, but I feel like this is the Lions division to lose at this point. Saints are 5-4 in theirs. Falcons 4-5. Bucks 3-5. Panthers 1-7. Bucks, Falcons, both have a chance. Honestly, the Saints only have a hold of 1-game lead, but the Saints slowly are starting to look a little bit more impressive. So these teams have got to hurry if they're going to steal the division. NFC West tied for first between the Seahawks and 49ers. I think the 49ers are in second technically due to the edge. I think Seahawks technically have the edge in first place. Actually, they lost. Never mind. Because of the bye, I think now the Seahawks are in second. So yeah, first place 49ers 5-3, tied for first Seahawks 5-3. Rams are 3-6. Cardinals are 1-8. Looking awful. But if you go wild card wise, our wild card, if it ended today, are the Steelers, Browns, and Bengals. How about the AFC North, baby? Bills are 1 game out, and then Chargers, Jets, Colts, Raiders, and Texans are all 1 game out. NFC wise, it's Seahawks, Dallas Cowboys, and Vikings are all in it, and then it's the Falcons, Commanders 1 game out. Rams, Packers, Bucks 2 games out. So as you can see, man, this wild card, there's some teams that are going to make the wild card this year that are going to be like, we could have a Josh Dobbs in the wild card on a new team. It's going to be really, really interesting. It's going to be a wild one. I tell you what, that's going to be a wild one. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see how this wild card race goes. But yeah, quickly before we move on to college football, shout out college basketball being back. Just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, we'll quickly go over some basically some news. So this Michigan thing is this Michigan thing is becoming a lot more serious. Apparently, there's actual discipline that could happen now. Connor Stallions is out. He's been basically canned, or he's resigned, but I'm pretty sure he was fired. Michigan's sign stealing thing is becoming a lot more serious. Apparently, from what I understand of it, there's a gray area. There's the gray in the middle. You got the white that's okay, the black that's not okay. You got the gray area that's where they should be. They were basically bouncing on both sides of it, where it's like, hey, you guys are going a little bit too far with this. That's basically from what I'm understanding from the stories, is that they've just gone a little bit too far, so that's the big issue. Past that, I mean, I don't think there's anything like massive college. USC fired their defensive coordinator, understandably. I mean, that they couldn't stop a nosebleed. I don't know. I don't know how much this is going to change. I mean, their defense is still kind of bad this year, but we'll see, pretty much. USC drops out of the AP poll for the first time under Lincoln Riley. Colorado's lost 5 in a row. We'll talk about that. I'll read off the AP 25 after I go out some scores real quick. Actually, you know what? We'll do AP 5 first since I'm already here. Top 25, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington rounds out the top 5. Then we got Oregon, Texas, Bama, Penn State, Ole Miss, Louisville, Oregon State, Utah, Tennessee, Oklahoma State, Missouri, Oklahoma, LSU, Kansas, Tulane, James Madison, Notre Dame. I can't believe they're even still in, honestly. Arizona, North Carolina, and Liberty coming in at 25. But yeah, real quick, some scores from the weekend that meant something. GCU loses to Texas Tech. Duke beats Wake Forest. Shout out Boston College, man. Covered for us on Friday. Then you got Saturday, Notre Dame gets embarrassed by Clemson. I mean, I'm embarrassed to be a fan of them. Purdue covers very late. That was disgusting. That really sucks. I had Michigan minus 32.5. Notre Dame scores a late touchdown, but Michigan wins big. Kansas State, Texas goes to overtime after Texas was up 17-0, I think. Indiana shocks Wisconsin, upsets them. That might be Wisconsin's season might be over. They can still make a bowl game, but I don't think they have any chance at the West now. I think that pretty much kills their chances at the West. Ohio State ends up covering against Rutgers after it's a close game for the majority of the game. Nebraska falls short to Michigan State, just barely. Florida falls short to Arkansas in overtime. That was a sad game to watch. Tennessee blows out UConn. Jacksonville State kept it close with South Carolina. Only reason I want to touch on this game is, man, Jacksonville State actually had a chance to beat South Carolina, but I think they had 2 or 3 turnovers and key spots to do it, and that's basically what's going to kill you in games if you turn it, especially as the underdog. You turn it over 2 or 3 times as the underdog, you're probably going to lose that game. They were able to cover, though, for us, so shout out. Ole Miss wins a close one against Texas A&M. They were up big at one point, I thought, and ended up coming back late. Georgia Tech blows out Virginia. I just want to shout that out because that was one of the play I wanted to take but didn't take, so I'm going to shout it out because I feel embarrassed. Utah beats Arizona State 55-3. I mean, this wasn't even close. That was a spanking. Air Force, you want to talk about spanking, loses 23-3 to Army. This is one of the more shocking scores of the game. I don't understand how. I mean, Army has been worthless to start the year. I mean, they're 3-6, but I mean, lost to UMass, who literally hasn't beat pretty much anybody. Lose bad to LSU. I mean, I don't understand how Army won that game. We don't got to go over it. Excuse me. Just know I'm frustrated as a bettor, and I'm sad I gave it out for you guys. Illinois upsets Minnesota. That's honestly really shocking. I thought, I mean, both those teams are kind of bad, but I thought Minnesota was slightly better. I guess not. Oklahoma State, big win. The last game in Bedlam for who knows how long because it's not on the schedule anymore. By the way, that's so dirty by Oklahoma. 114 years in a row they play this. Now they're just like, we're good. I wish they could have forced played. I mean, like Washington, I think Washington State was a school, even when Washington joined the Big Ten, like they're like, yeah, no, we're going to play Washington State. We're making sure that happens. I wish Oklahoma State would have done that. This was an awesome game, though. Shout out Oklahoma State getting a big win. Florida State doesn't cover, but they still win. Louisville wins big. UMass wins 3 in a row, baby. How about that? Houston beats Baylor in overtime. Georgia wins a close one against Missouri, man. That Missouri team's really, really tough. I'm going to be watching them more this year. Tulane barely beats East Carolina. That was a close one. Penn State blows out Maryland. The wagon, baby. James Madison continues to cover. 9-0, the covering machine. Very excited to take them again next week. They've been just a money printing machine for me. That's been really awesome. Another bet I wish I took, but I didn't. I wanted to take Texas State. I didn't. They blow out Georgia Southern. That's another one I feel bad about. Oregon wins 63-19. That's a big one. Kansas wins 28-21. That was a big game for them. Washington beats USC by 10, so USC is pretty much, their season's over. I mean, they'll make a bowl game, but I mean, everything they wanted to play for is pretty much out the window. Kentucky wins by 21 against Mississippi State. Alabama handles LSU after a very close game at first. And then Oregon State beats Colorado. I didn't watch that game. And then UCLA loses pretty bad to Arizona. That one's a little bit more predictable. I kind of thought Arizona would win that game. I didn't think it would win that big. So that's really shocking. But yeah, that pretty much, that would about do it today. I'll go over real quick. Just basically end the show real quick. We'll talk about my betting record. And I'll briefly touch on this college basketball thing in the outro. If you're curious about my betting record, college football wise, so these are all picks I give out. Now, 100% people, I'll admit, I'm up on the year. You guys, if you really want to talk about it, I will admit there's live bets. I'm thinking about it. Feel free to let me know in the comments below if you'd actually be interested in that. I'm thinking about making a Discord through Stare Down Sports because for those of you who don't know, I am a co-owner of Stare Down Sports with my boy Rowan. I'm thinking about making a Discord where I post all my plays, like even if I live bet, like just throw in there, be like, hey, I'm taking Alabama -3 right now, stuff like that. Because I had a really good weekend when it comes to live betting. Live betting, knock on wood, has been all right for me. Like, for example, I live bet Alabama and who was it? And like that doesn't go on the record I give out to you guys because I didn't give out Alabama. I kept it to myself. But excuse me. Yeah, like Alabama and I can't find this other team. Like I took a teaser that was Northwestern plus 12.5, Liberty -8, Colorado plus 21.5, Arizona plus 10. Took that very late. Ended up covering for me late. So yeah, I'm thinking about. I'm probably gonna bring a Discord. I'm gonna think about it. Just let me know if you guys would actually be interested in that. Seriously, comment below because that is something I'm considering doing. If people are actually interested in it, I will actually make effort and put time in towards it. Just because I feel like it'll be another. Obviously, that's a way to help us grow and everything. But that's something I actually want to do too. Just because I feels a little slimy sometimes when I give out all these plays. And then I just take something by myself and it's like, I maybe could have given that out. So yeah, let me know for real if you guys would be interested in the Discord. If you are, that'll be something I can make happen. Record-wise, college 47-44. Pickem, I think I'm like 81-55. I don't have that exactly right. I need to update it. NFL bets, 28-24-1. So, yeah, 47-44 to college, 28-24-1 for NFL bets. For my player props for NFL, I'm 20-24. Pretty good. I'll take it. That looks a lot better than Nasty Boys, college 2-8, NFL 3-20. What's crazy about those Nasty Boys, those have been, with how big the odds have been, I'm still up on the year. It's starting to get a little bit lower now, but we're still up. But yeah, to end this episode, like I said, college basketball, that's another thing I want you guys to comment on. I'm going to test it out these next 2 or 3 weeks, see how it goes after this week. But my guy, Rowan Donahue, a.k.a. Rowan Dives, a.k.a. the Redbeard, Captain by Hook, the guy I appear with on Fridays, we are going to be doing a show together on my channel. I appear on his episode every Friday. Love it, enjoy the hell out of it. He's basically going to do the same for me now as college basketball season. Once a week, we're going to have my guy on. Basically, one full episode will just be college basketball talk, with obviously some other betting stuff in there as well. But basically it's going to try to be a 20-30 minute betting talk where it's just like, hey, what'd you see this week in college basketball? What are some things you should expect? All the storylines, everything you need to go college basketball-wise, my guy Rowan's got us covered. We're going to do that either Wednesdays or Fridays. I'm going to see which one, basically, one gets better viewership and two just fits better in the scheme. Because don't get me wrong, I love to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but if that's not going to get as many views as Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I'd be stupid not to do it on Friday to give more people an opportunity to see it. But yeah, that's basically what's in the works right now. I'm thinking about doing a Discord. Let me know if you guys want the betting Discord with Stare Down Sports. I'll get that done right away, pretty much. Then yeah, also let me know Wednesdays or Fridays. Which day do you want college basketball talk? Because I'm good with either. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the support. I really appreciate everyone for watching. Quickly burn through all that. Yeah, it was a fun one today. So yeah, we aren't doing the college basketball this week. That'll be next week. So plan for next Tuesday. We're going to be the first college basketball episode. So that means just for this Thursday, we got one more episode this week on Thursday. The normal stuff. Pick 'em, NFL bets, college football bets. Maybe a college basketball bet or two if I got one. But thank you all for watching. I will see everybody in this feed on Thursday.